Yeah, you don't know me.
You don't fucking know him, Brick.
You don't fucking know me.
It's too early for you guys and your shenanigans.
Well, it's 7:30 your time, right? It's 8:42 here, so it's 7:42 your time. You're telling me you weren't up to shenanigans today?
No, it's AM, and Smithers
Sure.
is blacked out at 7:40 AM, 8:40 AM Central Time.
Granted, I started drinking a little bit early today because I went golfing, but
How'd you shoot? Pretty good?
oh no, terribly.
Where'd you golf?
go.
Tam.
You went to Tam? Oh, I fucking hate Tam. It's so tight. That's what you
Yeah,
If you're not going to shoot well, you might as well get blitzkrieged.
yeah, pretty much. And I was playing with people who actually don't suck, so I was just like, all right, I will hit the ball as hard as I can, and then we'll reconvene at the green.
Did you at least Happy Gilmore one ball?
No,
Coward.
I'm a little bit better than that, but also this is a perfect opportunity for me to bring up Mark's best moment, literally of all time. When we were in Scottsdale, Brick was busy throwing up probably in the front yard. I don't know, when we were staying at this Airbnb. This is prior to me breaking the toilet. But Mark and Decker and I went golfing in Scottsdale, and at one point I hit my drive like into a bunker just off the left side of the green, and Mark thinks like this is a great time to teach Smithers a lesson. This is a perfect time for a golf lesson. And he comes into the sand trap with me, and he's just like, you just gotta fucking slap at it, just fucking slap at it. And from about 45 yards out, he just nails it and sinks it. And I to this day, I'm furious. I'm so mad that golf ball went in the fucking hole. Like I can't deal with it.
What did you do afterwards? See, told you. Just like most casual.
Well, he just walked it off. Like, nah, just gotta fucking slap it in. Like, of course, that's what he thought.
Well, I'm a pretty decent golfer. Like I played in high school.
Okay,
that was pure luck. I will admit it. That was pure luck.
Do that again.
Yeah.
How many times do you sink that?
100.
Yeah. The odds are not in my favor.
100.
But
I'm going to go with that was your 1 out of 100.
It was a great moment. 1 out of 100. That's pretty good.
I wouldn't even give you that, really.
You just did.
So when you were at the golf course,
I drank too much beer today. I can't make this work at the same time. So why don't you guys just cover me for a second?
That's what I was going to mention. When you were at the golf course, you're drinking all the off-colored brews. Are you specifically only drinking the ones because they're all named like beer for golfing, beer for butt fingering, beer for all this other stuff? Did you only bring the beers for golfing to golf today?
Can you see my beer for ball games right here? Ultimate Bosch. I did not have time to throw in the beer for golf into the fridge.
Wow.
But I did bring beer, and Decker's in the chat, and he was the beneficiary of me bringing beer. But it was not the for beer; it was Troublesome. Well, so shameless plug. I hope they hear this. Off Color Brewing is my favorite brewery on the planet.
No listeners.
I had to go downtown for work on Thursday, and since I was there, I was like, well, fuck it, I'll put in an order to pick up a shitload of beer, and I did. So I brought some to the golf course today, and usually you can find a few of these, like 4-packs of 1 pint beers at your local liquor store, but they have a much better selection if you go to their actual, like, they call it the Mousetrap, which is on Kingsbury, like North Avenue. And it's very nice. It's a very cool place, and they're very nice people. So go there and buy their beer. It's very cool.
I doubt you struck conversation with them, but if you did have conversation, did you bring up why there's always a mouse? Like, what is the significance of the mouse on the logo?
I have never asked that.
Okay, maybe next time when you go there, ask that, because I'm curious.
Well, yeah. So like one of the beers that I bought is called Beer for Hell, because it's a Hell's Bach. I'm sorry, and it's got like the little mouse on it, and he's got the devil horns, and it's very cute.
Is it an amber?
How many different kinds did you buy in your variety pack?
Eight, I think. So this
Jeez.
one is a ghost, a lesbic ghost. It's a troublesome. It's a very good beer.
What's your favorite one? The beer for tacos one?
Beer for tacos is delicious. That's the one I brought to you, I think.
Mhm.
Big fan of all of their beers, and they won a whole bunch of awards for their Beer 4 series. Like they have beer from movies, and it basically tastes like soda.
Really?
And it's like, it's not for me, but I get what they were going for. Like I don't personally like it, but I bet a lot of people do. And all their beers are so good. If you're in Chicago, or even if you just see them in your local liquor store, Off Color Brewing, they're incredible. I love all of their beers.
Our style kind of looks like Where the Wild Things Are from that last one that you kind of just did.
It's insane that you mentioned that. That's going to be my son's first birthday party theme.
Where the Wild Things Are?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you could be dressed as the little kid king?
Well, Max is the name of the kid in.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's where he's a wild one, and he's going to be turning 1 in 3 weeks from today. So yeah,
are all of his birthdays going to be Max themed? Like you're going to have Max from Goofy movie, Maximus Aurelius, when he's 13, just make him the gladiator, Maximus Aurelius.
Maximus Decimus. Yeah, sure.
I like it.
Who's
invite me to the Eye to Eye Max Goofy movie one? I'll go to that one.
Who's the giant, like, main, big, fluffy goat bear thing in that series? The big teddy.
And I know the Wild Things are.
I don't know any of their names, and also I hope that you realize that I had zero input on what the theme for this would be.
Well,
all of that was never going to be in my court.
I'm gonna go on eBay, and somebody has had to have made one of those like suits for that bear goat guy, and you're for sure. I'm gonna convince Erica that you need to buy it.
Yeah, it's not
you
gonna
you got to dress up for your kid's first birthday. You have to.
No, I really don't.
You do.
Can we talk about? So Azriel's in the chat, and Azriel got a set of roller skates this week, and he threw out there, just basically a question like, what's the first bone that I'm going to break? And I guessed wrist, because that's the most common, I think, in terms of like actually rollerblading.
Yeah, you broke down the analytics. You really.
Yeah. Daryl guessed like elbow, and then Decker came in and was like right pinky. And then Azriel posts a picture of him in a splint, fully wrapped up in a cast, and says, I broke my right pinky in a door. So Decker is Satan, right?
That is freaking weird, Decker. I never want to see you again.
Yeah, Decker works for a door company too. That's even crazier.
That's fucking crazy.
He doesn't, but that's still a really good joke, Rick. I like that.
Good.
Well, in Black & Decker, they sell tools to fix doors. Fuck, dude. This is too crazy.
It's a little bit of a stretch. Azriel, if you're there, tell me specifically
reaching a little bit.
How you broke your finger. I would love to hear that. Like, I hope it's more complicated than I just slammed my finger in the door. But you know what?
If you're smart, you won't put a splint on it, and then you can have cool custom hands like your boy does.
I got one of those too.
Custom hands.
Mark, how bad are you at softball?
I'm not that bad. I'm actually pretty good. Our team's pretty bad because none of us have played 16-inch softball before, and we got slaughtered the first game.
Lecture right now.
We got crushed.
Who's on the squad and where are you playing?
Dude, we're all pretty athletic. It's just like we don't know how to play. Like I didn't know where to put the outfield, like how far back.
You're gonna get just bopped on because you think you're faster than that ball just soars quietly. Sometimes you're just like, oh, it's on a rope, and you just go straight over your head, and you're just running for days.
We just need to practice a little bit and figure it out. Plus, Simpson has never pitched 16-inch softball, and he was pitching for us. He did pretty well, but it's like,
oh, it's his fault, huh?
These guys have been playing for years, and it's like,
what league are you playing?
Morton Grove.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, there's by Niles, right? Is it in Morton Grove or is it in Niles?
It's in Morton Grove.
It means something. Okay. Why does it matter where he plays?
There's different leagues, as in
There's a Niles
like,
league.
Yeah, there's like A, B, C, and like Z leagues. So
like, I get that. It's just like, I mean,
like if you're playing Mount Prospect,
where you are,
more or less. No, there's like probably the better league is in like Forest Park, and then like Mount Prospect has a really good league too. It's just like high competition where all the teams play in nationals and play in other tournaments and just like keep playing.
Dorks.
I know, so many different tournaments. But then there's like casual leagues.
Smithers is like, you guys are dorks, and while he's just playing D&D Tuesday nights.
Regularly
bailed on our D&D sessions to go play softball.
I didn't bail. I just took a break. I'll be back. You have my soul. Don't worry.
I have your back. Throw it into the fucking lava river.
No, you would never.
Shit.
There's no way.
What else is going on? Brick, how was your week?
Trained young William. Got Billy in the cut.
Better for Keto.
He's back home now. He's working 100% remote.
He would just like shove you out of the way and sit down and talking to the mic.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, no, not gonna happen. He's chilling. He's working for me now.
Does he work for you, or does he just like work at the same place as you?
I'm his manager. I'm Mr. Manager.
This motherfucker. There's always money in the banana stand.
Always money in the banana stand.
At what point do you start completely mishandling your gross abuse of power?
Almost immediately.
Fair enough.
I'm a very good manager. Laissez-faire, hands off. You got to do what you got to do. If you work, you work. If you don't, that's what you're gonna get. It's fully commissioned, so deal with it.
I had to go downtown Thursday this week, downtown Chicago, to actually like go into my office, and it's still a fucking ghost town, downtown Chicago. I don't know what it's like in Denver, but it's scarier. Like being downtown Chicago is always just like a little bit unsettling because you always feel like, you know, anything could happen at any point. But somehow when there's like very few people there, it's even more unnerving.
Very I Am Legend.
Yeah, that, and I did the stupidest thing. So I drove in because I'm not ready to get like on public transport yet. I'm getting my vaccine next week, my second shot. Get your fucking vaccine, you idiots. You fucking idiots. But
I'm
anyway,
vaccinated, fully vaccinated. The first one. Who would have thought?
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking. You know who I'm talking to.
Yourself?
Everyone that's not getting vaccinated, I guess.
Yes, I already got my first shot. I'm getting my second shot on Monday. Anyways, I drove downtown and I was like, the traffic was worse than I was expecting somehow, which it shouldn't have been. But anyways, by the time I get downtown, I'm already 15 minutes late for work, and this is a job I've had for less than a month. And I'm like, I close my car door. I'm in a parking garage and I just sprint out of there. End of the day comes and I'm digging through my bag to find my car keys. Not there, of course. And I'm like 4 blocks away from where my car is parked in the garage. And I'm just like, well, fuck. If my keys fell out somewhere in my office, like I'm going to go there and I'm going to have to come back. So we're just really rolling the dice. So as I sprint out of my office and I go to my car and I'm praying to whatever God or demon will listen to me before I pull on my door handle, praying that it's unlocked and then I just drop my keys inside. And thank fucking God, I open my car door and there's my key sitting like between the center console and my seat. And my car was just unlocked all fucking day in Chicago, where everybody's car is getting stolen, and I'm the luckiest man on the planet.
Heart attack waiting to happen.
Speaking of cars getting stolen, it looks like Lil Reese. This is what I saw on Twitter. So Lil Reese was shot. He's a notorious Chicago rapper. You might not know him if you're not from Chicago, but he's kind of like a Chief Keef, if you want to just compare it that way. Like he's specifically really notable for being in Chicago as a rapper. Anyways, I guess he was stealing a car, and I don't know if it was gang related or if he was just fucking with the wrong guy, but he ended up getting shot at State and Grand, which is literally like right where we used to go to the movies, Smithers. Like right by that Chipotle.
That's not a lightly populated area. That's like
that's like downtown.
Wait, if he's like, All right. So you said his name like I should know who he is. And if that's the case, he probably shouldn't be stealing cars.
Yeah. And supposedly he's also been shot like 9 times already. So like Twitter's like, don't even try to kill this man. There's no point. You can't.
Well, he used up his 9 lives.
That's a good point. But
should I not be joking about a dead man?
Chicago
steal somebody's car.
My point is auto thefts in Chicago are just ridiculous.
Well, that was kind of my point too, because I just left my car with the keys in it in a fucking parking garage in the Loop in Chicago. Not smart.
It's no joke. And also what happened on Grand, one of my sister's good friends who just had a baby. She parked her Audi. She ran into a bakery to get, I don't know, fucking bread or pie or something. Yeah.
I enjoy that you had to point out that it was an Audi.
Well, it's a nice car. Like they're not just stealing fucking Toyota Camrys. That's that was my point. But anyway, she comes back out of the bakery.
Toyota Camrys.
And these guys are trying to theft her Audi and start it. But it's like one of those weird Audis where like you need to have the keys to start it. It could still run, but the keys need to like be like on the console or whatever. And they can't figure it out. And she comes out with her kid and she's just yelling. Imagine if your kid was, well, you wouldn't leave your kid in the car, but still, how fucking scary would that be? You with your not even 1-year-old kid, and these people are in your car trying to carjack you.
And the weird thing about that is if you get too close to it, can they like eventually just kind of start the car and start driving away?
No, I think it literally needs to be sitting on the thing.
For everybody to find out what a horrible mother I was for leaving my kid in the car.
There was no kid in the car though, right?
No, she had her kid. She left the car running. She went into the bakery with her kid. The kid was in her hand and she's just screaming.
Clear, just saying.
I thought I made it clear.
I understood it. You're just 10, 12 beers deep.
Daddy's been drinking, so you eat all of the dicks.
We can tell, rambling man. That's how we get to the news.
Moral of the story: just watch out for your car in Chicago.
Whatever. So, gentlemen, I sent you trailers and news and stuff. And the first trailer is for Wish Dragon, which is something we kind of discussed last week when we were talking about the Mitchells versus the Machines, because this is the upcoming Sony animated film coming to Netflix. So I assume you watched the trailer. What are your thoughts?
You assumed wrong. Just kidding. This really feels like it beat for the genie in Aladdin. Did that not immediately gravitate towards how everything kind of played out right away?
No, I get it, but this is more modern, I think, than
and it's a dragon.
Aladdin. Yeah, but the dragon comes out and is like, oh, I haven't been out since the Qing dynasty, and now it's replace genie jokes with dragon jokes. It's literally beat for beat. I was surprised this wasn't a Disney movie, to be honest. You really think that he's as bombastic as Robin Williams was?
And that's why I was surprised that they tried to make it seem like that right from the beginning, because I was immediately comparing it to the genie and the dragon right away. And I was like, this just isn't as good as Robin Williams is.
Well, it is John Cho. So It's not a no-name actor. Obviously, searching Star Trek, Harold and Kumar.
And he's great.
He's incredible. And he's got great comedic timing. I have a feeling this will be a very good movie. I just I thought you'd be more excited, to be perfectly honest. I mean, coming off of Mitchells versus Machines, I thought that we'd be pumped for this. We'd be primed for it. Mark, is that not how you're feeling?
No, I was especially pumped for this when I saw that it was being like created by the people that did Shrek. I think it's not being directed.
One of the producers, yeah.
Yeah, so the guy that's actually directing it is Chris Appelhans, and he has not done any movies before. He has just written a couple children's books. So that's
big step.
That's cool. Big step. Yeah, right, Brick.
Appelhans.
The cast is great though. Jackie Chan's in this as well.
In the art department for a lot of movies like Coraline, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Princess and the Frog, Puss in Boots, Angry Birds. This is not his first foray into animation.
Who? Appelhans?
Yes.
Apple Hans.
I'm looking at his IMDb page right now. Apple Hans.
Oh, I didn't look. I was looking at his Wikipedia. Okay. They don't mention anything.
Well, Wikipedia did them dirty. That's why you can't cite them on your college papers because it's fake news.
It's probably a different Apple Hans.
Different Apple Hans. I need a chocolate bonbon. By the way, the Fantastic Mr. Fox, criminally underrated. Sound off in the chat. Chris Christopherson.
Brick, you watch this trailer. What'd you think?
We're still talking about Wish Dragon?
Yes.
Yeah, like the only thing that really popped up at me was the genie just step for step. The first thing I thought of was Disney reusing their animations. You see, like with the Jungle Book, and then some other animation specifically goes like they have the same movements, same dances as another Disney movie. Literally, I thought that's what they were doing until I realized it was a Netflix.
I really thought you'd be more into this. I mean, we're fresh off one of the best movies we've seen this year, and they're producing another movie that comes out in a month.
Part of the reason that Mitchell's versus the Machines was so good to me was because I didn't expect it to be good.
So
I didn't have any expectations.
This movie to be good, then it might be excellent.
It might exceed my expectations, which would be better than I expected. That's what that means, I guess.
We can talk about movies that we have high expectations for, which is the Forever Purge.
Oh yeah, I forgot I looked at that one. Dude, you can't even call it a purge anymore. It's not a purge.
It's just murder.
It's just plain old murder. It's just chaos is what it is.
Mark, can you break this down for me?
Yeah, basically like people who were supposed to be like, okay, we already had our purge. We got that out of our system. Those people, of course, want more. And supposedly there's a big backlash now in the US or Mexico or wherever. And now people are saying like, we're purging all the time. Big fucking surprise that happened. So fucking stupid. But that's it. Yeah.
So they literally are on like the Texas-Mexico border. And these, I guess you could call them immigrated Americans, and they're Hispanic, obviously from Mexico. And some people just decide, which was always the flaw in the purge, some people just decide like, oh, we're not going to stop committing crime. That was always a possibility in the purge. Yeah. So sure.
I need more murder.
If I lived in this universe, I would absolutely become a creepy mask maker, because everyone just feels as though they have to have whatever, like a pig mask or some dumb shit. Can we get over this stereotype? I don't even know what to call it.
What, the creepy mask for scary movies? Or is it that's just the universe?
Purge movies specifically are bad about having these dumb masks.
Yeah, I guess they used it before to cover their identities because it was still like a thing you could do. But if I'm living in this universe, I am not fucking immigrating to the United States. Oh yeah, once a year somebody can murder anybody that you want. Yeah, I'll just stay in Mexico or Canada. That's fine with me.
I don't know, man. I feel like you would cross the border to try and rob some people. Like, I feel like you're that kind of piece of shit.
I'd have to like live in Tijuana or some shit now.
All right. So if you guys had to join a purge group, I'm thinking about splitting this up by the different mask groups of the purge. So you got the clown purge, you got the pig purge, the people that wear the pig heads. You got just the regular like ski mask, I think, purge. Maybe with some like white spray paint, like they like make it look like skeleton. Yeah.
I like the creepy doll mask, cracked doll mask creepiness.
Hold on. There's one more that just popped up in this trailer though. Or the outlaw purge, the fucking cowboy purge. You see that guy at the end who had the fucking cowboy hat with a mask?
I think you've kind of lost me anytime you try to claim something as cowboy, because it's just been like, it's been commandeered by idiots. And that's not what it's supposed to be. I would probably just be like the hog pig purge, just like
stealing. This is ridiculous. I look like an idiot. How am I supposed to murder you now? You know,
you got to kill everybody who sees you because you look like an idiot. You don't want them to tell anybody else how much of an idiot you look like.
I really feel like the purge has transitioned into what the Saw franchise kind of has, and it's just like kind of murder porn at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would, if I were to create a purge mask, I think I would take an alligator head and just open the jaw up and cut out the middle, like where his tongue was or whatever, and that would be where my face was, like in Mario or whatever, the Mario movie.
Yeah, or like the Beetlejuice.
Okay, yeah,
yeah, the Beetlejuice mom. She like pulls her face over her head or some shit.
Also, you're still on live. You would just wear your Batman mask.
I would do that too. Yeah.
Marco would try and save people.
He would try to kill you because, obviously,
I would try to save people and immediately get gunned down, just like in the street, like.
Mark wouldn't save anybody unless they were getting attacked by someone wearing hockey pads, and then he'd go in just so he could say the line.
I'd be like,
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Are you part of Professor Pig's gang? They're like, no, dude, we're just wearing pig masks. Are you sure? No, fucking dude, this is our original idea. And then they just fucking light me up with machine guns.
All right. Speaking of Brick, talk to me about Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage.
So, Three Dogs Night, I think, was the song that they chose. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. I thought I loved it. But I feel like they showed a little too much in the trailer, which is my biggest problem. But after I was thinking about it, though, what if Venom and Carnage just sucked into Spider-Man No Way Home? Like somehow gets transported there. That's like the end credit scene is Venom and Carnage are finally in the Spider-Man universe.
So my question about this is, even if this is a good movie, do we honestly care if it doesn't lead into the Tom Holland Spider-Verse? Because I feel as though this would just like peter out eventually. Like Tom Hardy would just be like, no, I'm too old to play Venom at some point. This doesn't look great. Mark, do you disagree?
So if we're talking about from like in comparison to how they're staying true to comics, yeah, this isn't the Venom we know from the comic books.
About staying true to comics.
If we're talking, it's like a buddy comedy is what I thought of when I watched this fucking trailer. Is immediately what came to mind, and that's not how I picture Venom, but that's because I have read some of the comic books. I thought the first one was okay. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think they knocked it out of the park. And I'm excited though to see Carnage because in all the comic books that I've read, I love the face-off between Venom and Carnage. Those are my favorite, battles that Venom has.
They're
with
great.
The villain.
And I can't wait.
That they'll get it right though.
Well, Carnage, the 2 seconds we see him at the end of the trailer, looks great. I didn't think they were really going to mess that up though, because I think the actual design of Venom himself in this movie is I can't ask for much more than that. I don't know what I would picture differently. So just from that standpoint, yes, Woody Harrelson also isn't rocking that fucking weird afro thing anymore, which is
got rid of the wig, which is a big step forward.
So I'm not going to complain too much yet.
I will. Shut up and let me talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is basically just like a buddy comedy at this point, and that's the issue that I have with it. Tom Hardy is basically living with Venom, who is the shitty roommate who never shuts up and makes a mess in the kitchen and plays his music too loud. The two things in all of existence that would stop the Venom symbiote from being comfortable would be fire and loud noises. And everything that's in the opening scene of this trailer is open flames and loud music and pans clattering around. So you've already lost me, because I'm not in for a buddy comedy about Venom, and I'm not in for a complete change of the character and I guess, degradation of his weaknesses. I don't understand where they're going with this, and I'm really surprised, honestly, that Tom Hardy's just like, yeah, let's fucking do this. This looks good. Because I feel like he doesn't pick shitty movies.
But what if they told him that this is going to be added into the actual MCU with this Sony Disney deal? Because doesn't Venom learn all of his basically combat by just copying what Spider-Man does?
Yes.
And they don't have any. In the first one, they didn't really have him have any Spider-Man like moves at all. It just kind of been like he felt like the Sandman.
Than finesse.
He was just like smashing. He was like turning into what the Sandman could do, and just like whatever he thought of, he can like transform into that. I guess morph. But if it gets transformed in to the MCU, I can see that being very interesting.
You're not really.
I'm just dreaming. I'm just dreaming.
Yeah, as far as like the whole buddy comedy thing goes, like I'm out on that. Show me.
I enjoyed the first one and it had some good moments.
I enjoyed
the best movie ever.
But this one's going to turn into like they play off of each other, and I'm not here for that. Like they're supposed to be at odds, essentially. And Venom's whole thing is that apparently in this universe he just wants to eat people who do him wrong, and I don't know. It's something about the wrong way.
Yeah, but he is at odds. He just learns to deal with it because the other option is he gets killed by Venom. So,
well, that's what I'm saying though. Is like Tom Hardy is fine. It's Venom who's a dick.
I like it.
Okay, fair enough. Mark, do you have any thoughts on this?
I already gave my thoughts.
Nothing.
If we're talking comic books, obviously you're going to have some issues with it. Looking at how they portrayed Venom in this trailer, but it's also a trailer. You know, this isn't DC we're talking about. It's not like they gave us a great trailer. Marvel has given us some shitty trailers, but they come out with some pretty good movies. So maybe this is another case of that. But I know it's Sony, but still, it's a Marvel property. We'll see what happens.
Kind of. I watched this trailer and I was upset. I don't think this movie is going to be good. So either of you can probably convince me otherwise, or we'll just move on to the next trailer then.
Would you rather see Wish Dragon or Venom?
Wish Dragon.
Liar.
No.
You're a liar.
I mean, I will watch both, but Venom 2 will be more of a morbid curiosity. Wish Dragon, I think, coming off of Mitchell's versus the Machines, I feel as though it has a higher threshold for success.
They came out, let's say they come out the same day, both in theaters only. You can only choose one movie to see. You're going to go fucking see The Wish Dragon?
No, I wouldn't.
Yes, that's what I thought. Okay.
Now, that's more out of a sense of obligation, I think.
Right. Smithers, would you rather see if they push back Venom to when Morbius comes out? Would you rather see Morbius, or would you rather see Venom? But in Morbius, they slow down all the shots where Jared Leto is shirtless. Like everything's in slow mo. Every time he takes his shirt off, it's slow mo.
No, still Venom.
Would you rather see Venom twice or the Snyder cut in black and white?
Reverse.
Venom twice. I've never seen it. But yeah, Venom twice.
Guaranteed. Okay. Smithers is literally falling asleep.
Yeah, Mark, you still owe me a movie that I need to watch, because we've kind of bounced back and forth on this. You mentioned The Mist, and I told you I'd already seen it. So, I mean, if you have something, like, I still have to pay this bet off. So,
yeah.
How noble.
I'll come up with one by next show.
I don't welch on my bets. Okay. Like I will pay off my bets. So
we'll find something. Anybody in the chat, let us know if there's something that is horrible and that Smithers needs to watch. 2 of movies, right?
Just one.
I thought it was 2, Mark, because you were going to make him do back-to-back things, I thought.
No. Mark tried to make it 2. He was like, oh, well, both of my teams made it to the Super Bowl. And we're like, yeah, we didn't.
No, but Mark won the league too, or you got last in the playoff league as well.
That's what we're talking about.
No, we picked teams, but then we also did the fantasy draft, and whoever got the least amount of points for the fantasy draft had to do a bet too.
No, you're making that up.
Mark, don't you remember that? Go back to the tape. Go to the tape.
I don't remember it, but maybe we have to go to the tape.
Definitely making that up. Anyways, the best trailer of the week was something we've already had a teaser for, and I still don't know what this movie is actually about.
It's an A24 movie. Does it fucking matter?
It kind of matters because A24 has had some stinkers.
Anyway, like what, Smithers? Like what?
Midsummer.
You fucking hate Midsummer.
Late summer.
Yeah, Midsummer sucked.
What if it was an early summer? Would it have been a better movie?
Shut up. Anyway, Green Knight. This looks incredible. Even though I have no fucking idea what this movie is supposed to be about, this looks absolutely incredible. Let me read a synopsis for it real quick. This is starring Dev Patel, as Sir Gawain, the Green Knight, the titular Green Knight. And it follows the Arthurian court, so we're looking at like King Arthur times, of legend as they are confronted in a mysterious challenge by the Green Knight, who shows up and is basically made of trees, I think.
Yeah, green.
Anyways, he's seemingly undefeatable in combat because Dev Patel cuts his head off and he's just like,
fuck you.
Yeah. Anyways, he promises to return in 1 year, and now Dev Patel has to go out and find him and face him and fuck him up.
So isn't Dev Patel the nephew of King Arthur in this movie? I'm pretty sure.
I'm unsure. I don't know if that was completely clear, but
I thought I read that somewhere.
It matters anyways. I kind of like Dev Patel. I think that in this, I've only ever seen him in this trailer, but he is he's got the facial expression. Like, he looks good.
Slumdog Millionaire, isn't he in that?
I don't know. Are you being racist and just assuming that he's a brown man?
Sounds like you are, because he was in Slumdog Millionaire.
And that was probably his movie that got his career really running.
Yeah, definitely.
Mark, what did you think about this trailer?
I was super impressed because I think this is, well, knowing that this is a original idea and this isn't being based off of like a novel or a comic book, I was pretty impressed by that fact. And David Lowery, I guess, is directing this. Sounds like he has done a lot of like those small Sundance Film Festival type movies and has won some awards for that. But other than that, I don't recall any movies that I've seen him direct before. But I'm excited to see what happens in this. And I think there's a lot of things that appeal to us as a group. I mean, you have the lore brick. We have like the fantasy medieval stuff going on. And it just reminds me of something that would be like adapted from a comic book. And knowing that this was an original idea that this guy had, I think it's really cool that this is happening.
Period pays. This is coming July 30th to theaters. Brick, your thoughts?
Two things that stood out to me the most in this were the incredible settings that they had. It was like dark, but it was like mythical at the same time, but it kind of based it in reality to a certain degree. Like, it's not like super out of the over the top with the animation. It's just like, this is the time period. It's very mysterious and mythical, but also the disturbing imagery, which is just classic A24. They just kind of showed some fucked up shit, and you're just like, all right, I can see some of this going deep, because people back in that age were also fucked up.
So you didn't feel at all like off-put when the giant humanoid monsters were in the background? Like, to me, that was like completely taking me out of this.
Right. But I was more talking about like the settings in themselves. Like, it's basic giants and like tree people. It's like kind of, I don't know. It wasn't too like crazy. It was all more like to do with nature than it was like with magic and stuff like that.
Okay.
Wait. I don't want to, I guess, give this director too much credit, because Sir Gawain and the Green Knight was actually a 14th century Middle English romance, and the author is unknown. So it was some old ass fucking story that was written, and I guess this guy's
Probably
adapting it. But still, I doubt he's actually read it besides the Wikipedia page.
Totally changed.
Mine too.
I don't give a shit. All right, let's get some news proper. Yes, I've been drinking all day, Mark. Deal with it. Wow, that was not me. For the record, that was Brick.
That was not actually. That was purely drunk ass Smithers. Go back to the tape.
Directly into his mouth. You realize you're on video right now.
Check the tape.
I happen to love Enola Holmes, and that came out last year, 2020, on Netflix. And they've announced that Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill are coming back for the sequel with director Harry Bradbeer and writer Jack Thorne, based on the Nancy Springer book. And I'm very excited for this. I am here all day for Henry Cavill and Millie Bobby Brown, just like the dynamic that they had, even where she's just so resentful of him and he's trying to make a name for himself as the best detective in London. Can either of you, Brick, I'll start with you. Enola Holmes, tell me what you want in the sequel.
What do I want in the sequel of Enola Holmes? I would like more collaboration with Enola and Sherlock rather than disjointed stories kind of crossing paths. I just like them as a fun dynamic. I want them to go back and forth with each other. I don't want this to be just Enola Holmes. Like, she figured out, and Henry Cavill also figured out, that she's a good detective and she can make things happen. And I think now that she has that trust with him, they can more or less be partners rather than, oh yes, you are smart and you can do this. I want more collaboration.
Mark?
Kind of piggybacking off of Brick, I would like more collaboration, but more of like a competitiveness collaboration where Enola Holmes is trying to solve the same mystery that Sherlock Holmes is trying to solve, and they're like racing to see who could solve it first, kind of thing. I think that would be a cool concept. Also, more Henry Cavill would be great. He wasn't in it as much, and I mean, how much like weight is lifted off your shoulder for him, do you think, where he can actually finally just use his regular accent, where he doesn't have to? Have you thought about that? Just like,
yes. And the fact, though, that he has to come in and do this, I feel as though it's going to be more work for him than, say, like a Superman role would be. I would love to. I think that Millie Bobby Brown can stand on her own without the aid of Sherlock Holmes in this.
I think she could.
She did. She already proved that she could.
Well, he still showed up. Granted, he didn't really like play out in the main plot, but I also feel like I just hope that they don't lean on that crutch, I guess is what I'm saying.
Sure. Well, I think that just showed that he was there for her because she didn't have anybody to have. She just had her mother before that. It just kind of showed that he was there for her eventually.
But if they both, the announcement was Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill are coming back for season 2. That makes me think they're going to feature him more prominently, which I'm almost never against. I don't want them to take away from Enola Holmes.
And it's a sequel, not a series. So it wouldn't be a season 2.
It is a book series, and it could potentially be a movie series, so we'll see.
Well, because the first one was a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and so will next
so
one.
So it's not season 2, it would be the sequel.
It would just be the second. But why does that matter? That's just semantics.
No, it was being semantics towards you drunk ass, cross-eyed fool.
You son of a bitch. How dare you say that to me, you piece of shit.
Say that to both of us.
I can't without looking at you separately. Let's move on to the news. More so, FXX has ordered a series, and literally the only reason that I'm talking about this right now is because Danny DeVito is involved. But it's an animated comedy series starring Danny DeVito, Lucy DeVito, which I believe is his wife, and Aubrey Plaza, which is the best cast of all time. I will just say it right now. It follows a reluctant mother, played by Aubrey Plaza, and her Antichrist daughter, attempting to live an ordinary life in Delaware, but are constantly thwarted by monstrous forces, including Satan, played by Danny DeVito. This sounds fucking incredible.
I'm absolutely all the way here for it. And Lucy DeVito is actually Danny DeVito's daughter.
Really? Okay. Thank you for the note.
There you go. I for some reason, I see when I brought this up, Lucy DeVito, it had a picture of Danny DeVito, Lucy DeVito, Aubrey Plaza, and Dan Harmon. Is Harmon involved in this?
That's an excellent question. Wow. Now that I look at Lucy DeVito, she just looks like a female Danny DeVito.
Yeah, they have the same genetics.
That makes me really uncomfortable.
She's fine. She's 38, still 4'11".
Okay.
But what's it called again?
Little Demon.
Let's see if Dan Harmon's involved, because that would be big.
She's taller than Danny DeVito, or maybe she's wearing heels. Yeah, she's wearing.
Yes, that too. But also, who cares, Mark? What I mean, does this strike you at all?
I'm happy to see Aubrey Plaza in something other than Parks and Rec. Like, I feel like I haven't seen her in anything recently.
She's won a bunch of awards for doing movies recently.
I tell me one movie, because I haven't seen it.
I want to call it Brown Bear or Black Bear. I think that's the most recent movie that she did. Not that it matters. Like, you haven't seen her or anything, that's fine. Yeah. But I mean, do you like Aubrey Plaza?
Here, let me rephrase that. I'd like to see her more in things that I watch. So this is something I would watch with Danny DeVito.
Dan Harmon's the executive producer, so fuck yeah. I like that he's got a little say in this, because I love Dan Harmon.
Sounds cool. It sounds like it's going to be extremely funny.
Black Bear came out December 2020.
Who is that directed by?
Starring Aubrey Plaza and Christopher Abbott.
Okay. Doesn't do anything for me. Never seen it.
Awesome. There's one more bit of news. How deep were you guys into Adult Swim and just the ridiculous cartoons that they hosted?
Dr. Stephen Brule was my shit, but this Aqua Teen Hunger Force didn't do it for me. I thought it was the worst, stupidest show.
What about you?
Other than DBZ, Samurai Jack, and some Robot Chicken here and there.
Robot Chicken was great. Yeah.
Oh, you guys are insane. I think that both of you would really enjoy the Venture Brothers. It's on Hulu. All of the seasons are there. You should absolutely check that out. I think it's great. Aqua Teen Hunger Force, I get. Either you love it or you just like don't get it. So I understand it. Metalocalypse, I think you guys would both enjoy as well. But anyways, that's an entirely long way to say that Adult Swim has announced they're going to produce feature-length films of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Metalocalypse, and the Venture Brothers.
Is this telling us that the series are the series over? All these series, are they done?
They brought Venture Brothers back.
Okay.
But the other two have been done for a while.
Okay.
They're supposed to first release on Blu-ray and video on demand, and then 3 months later they'll premiere them on HBO Max.
Gotcha.
I'm shocked that neither of you have any exposure to these properties.
I have exposure to them. I just didn't enjoy them.
That's even more shocking, frankly.
I guess I didn't stay up late enough, because they were later in the schedule, weren't they? Like Aqua Teen Hunger Force was what, 1:30?
10 p.m. Yeah.
You had to be half sleep deprived to enjoy that.
I disagree, but okay. We have synopsi on all of them. I think it's probably best if I don't read them because it's kind of long, but I really thought that you both would be more excited about this.
It's crazy that you can look at both Mark and I at the same time.
Why? Because his eyes are just like so wonky.
What is it? Only 10 beers deep too?
I'm always watching you, Brick.
What's the alcohol content for those beers? I feel like they're 9 or 10%, and you've had 10 of them.
Do you really think I'm that shit-faced?
Dude, yeah, dude. I'm sure you have throw up on your shirt.
Dude, he can barely keep that left eye open.
Yeah, dude.
He's trying.
He's like leaning to one side. He's getting the spins.
If there was one of these shows to appeal to me, it would be that Metalocalypse. I've always thought about watching that. Isn't it about just like some metal dudes in a band that like get superpowers?
They are basically the most famous people on the planet. And anytime they do a metal show, everyone in the world shows up. It's millions of people there, but somehow they always all end up dying because it's so metal. That's kind of the running gag. It's a really good show. I fully endorse it. I think it's brilliant.
Well, I didn't know that was the concept, so
and they had like a real metal band show up and like play metal to be the backtrack for it.
I mean, imagine having a show that's revolving around metal music and your metal music sucks in the show. I doubt they would let that happen. So it's not surprising.
Sucks. So
good point.
Either way.
This
unless it's Tenacious D.
I wish it was John Bellion.
No, I said Tenacious D, dude. That's the hardest metal in the world.
Dork.
Bezel Boss, dude. Let's move
on.
Worst.
The worst. She's the worst person in the world. Huge, skank, terrible. But thank you.
Brick, I feel like I've been mean to you tonight. Do you want to go first?
Sure. And you haven't been meaner than any other day. Worst people alive. There's
Smithers.
Here's the headline. Chernobyl alcohol drink seized by authorities. The first bottles of an artisanal spirit made using apples grown near the Chernobyl nuclear power plant have been seized by the Ukrainian authorities. So anybody who has seen Chernobyl, great series, HBO, fantastic. The thing that sticks with you the most is you barely touch anything in Chernobyl and you turn into a freak zombie dead guy with the most radiation poison of all time. What the fuck?
Is that your end question? Is just what the fuck?
The only thing that I will say about this is they did have a pretty solid name. It was Atomic Apple Spirits. So kind of clever in that regard.
I back Atomic Apple Spirits.
So how did somebody get this Chernobyl moonshine, I'll call it? Because I'm assuming it was like moonshine.
So there's actually scientists out there currently that work within that 4,000 square kilometer Chernobyl exclusion zone. And they are doing studies to see if the soil or other food can be still grown and still be used to like make actual safe products. But they tried to make this apple spirit and then they tried to ship it out like of that fucking exclusion zone, which is like, all right, yeah, you can test it and that's fine. Nobody's except for like actual sickos are going to try and buy this novelty apple spirit. You'd have to the
scientists.
You found
shady ass scientists.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The scientists claimed that there doesn't have any, radiation in it, but I mean, I'm not going to take that risk. I don't know anybody who would.
Tall apple, but there's no radiation involved whatsoever.
AKA these are just prisoners from like the Ukraine that like science. And they're like, all right, go into Chernobyl and find us some food and some booze that maybe aren't infected.
Nothing else better to do than that 4,000 foot squared exclusion zone. Let's make this apple spirit. Let's get blacked out and let's try and ship it out of here and see what happens. Sick. I got the name Atomic Apple Spirits. It's actually good though. The name, you got to give him credit for the name.
It's actually fucking genius. Is what it is.
Very brilliant.
It's a good name. All right, I have to share my screen for this because this is fucking incredible. It's a very dumb man. That doesn't mean that he was necessarily in the wrong, but let's just listen in on this.
You're a big Zoom call guy.
We'll bring this fool in.
There he is. Buttfucker 3000.
Buttfucker 3000 just showed up for court.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Me? Who?
Me?
Yeah, you. Yes.
Nathaniel Saxon, sir.
Your name's not Buttfucker 3000. Yo-ho. Logging into my court with that as your screen name.
Why would
discuss that in a little bit.
All right. I don't care about the rest of this, but we have to fast forward to the end now when one of the people in the chat just starts laughing uncontrollably.
Think about what you call yourself online.
Watch Joseph Chris right here.
Mr. Grossnickel, then we'll bring.
I died laughing at this. I laughed so hard I was crying. Buttfucker 3000 here showed up to a Zoom chat that was basically court. And how stupid can you possibly fucking be?
You could be as stupid as Tofty.
You could be as stupid as Buttfucker 3000 apparently.
Well, he didn't remember Tofty went to like that military meeting when his nickname was Smithers fucks dogs or some shit. And he's like, yeah.
Yes, and that's what you get for trying to claim that I fuck dogs. That is exactly what happens to you.
Hold on, provide a little more context to that, Brick.
So Tofty showed up in our Discord, and his screen name was Smithers fucks dogs. And he ended up joining another Discord, which was basically for work for him. And he works in the Texas National Guard. So basically, he showed up for work with the screen name Smithers fucks dogs and got chewed out for it. And rightly so.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So shout out to the Tofty.
So anyway, back to this court case. Who's the worst man alive here? Because I feel like that judge just got fucking absolutely alphaed. When Buttfucker 3000 shows up in your courtroom, you got to declare him innocent.
That Buttfucker.
He's not just Buttfucker. He's Buttfucker 3000.
It's almost like Deborah Bot 5000.
What if that judge was like, don't lie to me. There's never been a buttfucker over 2,000, you piece of shit.
Don't lie to me. How many butts have you fucked?
I hold you in contempt of court.
That's essentially what he did is basically put him in contempt of court. So unfortunate, but also it was probably like just like his kid used his laptop and was like, oh, this will be funny. Zoom is very unforgiving like that.
Oh my God.
Is that back-to-back weeks with the Zoom call?
I
fail?
think it might be.
Because you had the guy with the governor or the guy from Ohio who's doing the law about not distracted while you're driving, just doing it in a Zoom call like a fucking idiot.
If I had to choose who I would be in this scenario and it was only these two people, it would definitely be Buttfucker 3000.
Obviously, it's a power move.
I saw something online the other day that I really want to do. Some guy made, I guess you could do Zoom backgrounds that are videos now. Some guy did a Zoom background video where it's like he was on a conference call for work and he was in the room, obviously, that he's probably always on for work calls. And he did a video where he walks in with a cup of coffee and hands it to his desk where it looks like he's handing it to himself. So it looks like he has a twin coming in, handing him a cup of coffee. And the guy obviously already had the cup of coffee on his desk, but he like picked it up and like acknowledged the twin. And fucking he just walks out of the room. It was hilarious.
You gotta be so bored with work if that's the kind of shit you're doing.
People on the call were just like, wait, what? What just happened? Your clone just came in?
Yes.
I guess I won't do my best man alive. Smithers, thanks.
Drunk ass Smithers.
How drunk is this guy right now?
He doesn't even know how to control the show anymore. He's just willy-nilly and pressing buttons here left and right. I don't think he can see where the buttons are.
Whatever.
Go ahead, Mark.
All I was gonna mention is the fucking.
Sorry, go ahead.
All I was
gonna.
So it. Just go, dude. Just let's do the movie review.
Oh, who's your best man alive?
I was just gonna mention this lady.
Eat shit.
Yep, that was actually good. Mark Capone.
All right, I'm sorry, Mark. I did not mean to.
Yes, you did 100%, 1,000.
The second time I did. The first time I didn't. But you told me that you didn't really have a good one anyways, so we'll
No,
just
I was going to talk about your aunt, Karen Smithers, who is here pictured in Florida, filling up gas because she was freaking out about them having a shortage.
Stop it.
This has to be a work. Nobody's this, like, I understand that it's Florida.
This is your relative, Smithers, by the way. Just acknowledge it.
I do have relatives in Florida, which is unfortunate, but I refuse to believe that anyone is this stupid.
I'm blown away.
You know why I'm convinced that this is real? Like this wasn't staged? Why? Because it's taking place in Florida, first of all. Second of all, like, do you see that lady's fucking leg tattoo right there? I don't know. I'm looking at that tattoo and just thinking, wow, this
woman's for real.
No, I refuse to believe this.
Like, I think that's a silhouette of the Mickey Mouse head.
Straight up
Florida thing. So
I can't be that stupid. Can someone describe this? Someone describe what she's doing.
Oh, it's everybody saw pictures this week of people like filling up their coolers and plastic garbage bags and everything with gas on the East Coast because a team of hackers basically took over the entire pipeline that supplies refined gasoline to the East Coast. Okay, so from Virginia down to Florida, they basically commandeered it and were just like, this is ransomware. We'll pay us and we'll like back out of your systems. Okay, so it threw all of the East Coast south of Virginia into a frenzy. And everybody was trying to fill up as many gasoline containers as they possibly could, even though they weren't really going to run out of gas. And I saw some people doing that near me, and I was just like, you're a moron because that doesn't even supply us. But anyways, yeah, that's the background for this.
The picture itself was of a woman trying to fill up a laundry basket with lots of holes in the basket. So there's just that girl's either the dumbest person on the face of the earth on meth, or that's a fake picture.
It's fake. It's got to be fake. Can't be real. I know it's Florida. I understand. It can't be real. Anyways, Jupiter's Legacy, right?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I think it's real. All right. Anyways, yeah, let's get to the review.
Jupiter's Legacy is getting shit on by critics. It's currently at 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, but 74% from fans. Brick, I feel like this is your territory. Do you you tell me, is this popcorn flick movie range?
Not enough action for it to be considered a popcorn flick, I don't think.
Okay, that's fair. So if you're not familiar with this property, it was written by Mark Miller, and Netflix probably 3 years ago came out and made a first look deal with Mark Miller, the entire Millerverse. Mark Miller is a comic book writer, and I believe he's done some art at some points. But anyways, this is his property. He made a deal, and this is based on some people in old timies back when the market was crashing in 1920s. Basically, oh man, how do you even explain this? All right, it's a series of flashbacks between a super-powered group of people in present day versus the flashback, which is
post-1929 market crash, going on the adventure to find their superpowers.
Essentially, yes. So our main character is played by Josh Duhamel. And we get the flashback to him back in 1929 before the stock market crash. He's a steel magnate, or he's in the family of a steel magnate. His father was the actual steel magnate. And the market crashes, and his father just yeets himself off of the building. And then it leans into Josh Duhamel going insane, seeing his father coming back, telling him things, and then it leads him down a path which eventually leads to him and his group of friends who he saw in a vision getting superpowers, and we're off. So the basis of this is everybody's got a code, which is don't kill, and we're not going to rule the humans. And from there, we end up in the situation which is present day, where these supervillains are coming in and they're getting more and more violent. They're getting more and more reckless, rambunctious. And the general populace says these superheroes need to start killing because these people are shitbags, and that's the only way to stop them. Did I miss anything? Mark is talking shit about me in the chat, so
I didn't say anything. Brick, you're muted for whatever reason, or you were.
No,
Thank you.
Okay. No, I think you nailed it pretty much. I had a lot of issues with the show, but there was also it did have some redeeming qualities. You want me to go first?
Why don't you tell me both your issues and the redeeming qualities? Because we're kind of reviewing this right now.
Okay. That's why I asked, should I go first, you piece of shit? The redeeming qualities, I would say, I think the characters, like the different superpowers the characters have, are interesting enough to where you want to learn more at some points throughout the show. I also think they did a good job. I don't know if this is more so just based on the comic books. Mark Millar or whatever his name is, he has a really interesting origins for this group of superheroes. And that was what intrigued me the most, is like learning about this origins that, you know, these group of people go to get to the point where they're these superheroes that can rule the world.
But let me ask you this. Did it take you out of it at all, knowing that you kind of know what happens at the end of that trip? As in, you know, they're going to make it out alive and get their superpowers.
No,
there really didn't feel like there were any stakes.
I still think that the flashback was the best part of this series, and it wasn't close.
I agree. The flashback was the best part of the series, but that just made for a lame present day, I felt.
Yeah. Brick, my argument would be once our main character, Josh Duhamel, starts having those visions in the flashbacks, you already know what's going to happen. You should already figure out, like, okay, these flashbacks are obviously going to exist and cause them to become these superheroes somehow.
Right. But would it have been better if they just started with the flashback and just went all the way through chronologically?
I don't think so. I think there's a lot to be felt between the Utopian, who is played by Josh Duhamel, and his son, who is Brandon, aka what they call it? I don't think they called him Doodoo Butt. You might be right.
They treated him like Doodoo Butt, and that was one of my problems. Like, I felt so bad for that kid.
Paragon is what they called him. So full disclosure, I've never read any of these comics.
Me neither.
Do I really care to? It sounds kind of lame.
Same.
But anyways, I forgot where I was going with this. Josh Duhamel is a huge boner. He's basically Superman, which is everything you need to know about him. He sucks, and he's got a ridiculous code, which basically says you got to be super nice to these villains who are murdering people. You can't kill them. That's too mean.
Not just murdering people very close to them.
Yes, so that leads to a divide between him and some of the other superheroes, including possibly his son, which is basically the entire premise of this season.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they would have went
critical about this. I feel like there was a lot of shit to hate.
Well, first of all, I'll start by saying I watched the first episode with Billy, and it was fine. I mean, but after I watched the first episode, the next day I was like, how about you just watch Invincible? It's just much better. So that's the superhero show. If you're going to pick one or the other, Invincible is the play. This doesn't really hold water to Invincible or The Boys or any other superhero property that kind of has come out, I feel, because there was a lot. It was a slow burn. I think if they would have done it chronologically, it would have been better, because they could have ended it with them getting the superpowers that you didn't know. And going into the second season would have been better than how they ended it, the actual series. The best part of the whole series was Red Foreman. Red Foreman blowing his brains out. That was the best part of the whole fucking. I don't want to read this very long, you dumbass.
I disagree with the fact that you could have done this chronologically, like in a linear fashion. I just don't think that would have worked. I feel as though you have to have the present day to set up why they are who they are in the 1920s and 30s. It's just my opinion, but Mark, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this.
Yeah, I think I don't want to get onto like the problems we had with the show because it's just how the comic book is. Like, the problems I had with the show were mainly the special effects were fucking terrible, absolutely terrible. But even with the special effects, like there weren't many fights, there weren't many battle scenes. That's the reason why I was hooked in the first episode.
Nobody got their small intestine ripped out.
Well, dude, those were the best scenes. Is like the scene in the club where there's a fight. One of the opening scenes where they actually like witness their friends getting killed, that kick off this whole issue amongst this whole Justice League type group.
There's literally 3 fight scenes.
First one was a fucking tough watch. That entire fight scene with them in Black Star is horrible. The effects are so bad. You could so tell that everybody was like on a wire coming in, but they weren't even like balanced properly.
I didn't have too much to complain about the special effects. They weren't the best, but they weren't like, I can't believe the wires are. I didn't see it like that. But there was only 3 fight scenes. I felt there was like, the first episode, the middle episode, and the last episode. That was it.
I don't know. There's some like
minor.
Walt's daughter has a couple fights.
She's also the worst character ever too. She's so
not Walt's daughter. Sheldon's daughter is the worst. That's who you're thinking of.
Correct, Chloe.
Yes.
Yeah, Walt's daughter is that sick samurai chick, right?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
So Rick, you've got some things to say about Walt's daughter. Why don't you go off, King?
Dude, she is literally pathetic little rich girl. I don't want to be like my daddy. Oh, I have superpowers. I didn't ask for these superpowers. I don't want to do anything. Mwah. I wanted you to die from a drug overdose because you're a dumb, stupid little bitch. She was so annoying.
I can't really disagree there. It's she's the worst part of the show, and it's not particularly close.
Did you like her, Mark? Did you enjoy her rebellious side?
The only character I really did like, I didn't really have too much of a problem with the wife or the mom, and I didn't really have a problem with the son. I felt bad for the son. Sheldon was terrible. Like they both pissed me off.
Yeah.
His whole, sticking to the code thing, where there was just parts where I was like, wow, you are the worst. Like, you are evil, what you're doing, because you're just caught up in your own mind thinking like he's a narcissist. He's so self-involved where he's like, no, I can't let anyone see me this way. They have to know I'm sticking to my guns kind of thing. He's just a shitty ass character.
This code from 1930 must remain in place, even though it's antiquated.
I mean, they called America broken in 1930, and 100 years later, they're still like, oh, it's broken. I don't know what happened. Like, maybe that's your cue to change what you do.
Yeah. The code kept it poor, but yeah.
Just a fucking thought. I honestly, I enjoyed this. I enjoy this series, and it's hard to say that because I didn't enjoy it that much, but I was hooked on the story, and most of it that hooked me was the flashback to the 1920s because it's a period piece, and that was clearly the best part of it. The costumes and the settings were incredible. It was so good.
Costume, yeah. Samson did have a bitchin' costume. It was
far away the best part of this show.
Absolutely, it was like the white, and then it had like the symbols that he kind of got from. That was a very cool suit. I do have to give him credit for that.
They leave a lot of information about out on this in terms of like, where does the dad's watch come from and blah blah blah. So I don't know if maybe they'll explain that later, assuming they get a second season. They sure as fuck seem to think that they're going to get a second season because they leave on the biggest cliffhanger of all time. No spoilers, but it's massively disappointing. I think the ending is that safe to say, Brick?
Yes, I would agree. It was just kind of meh. I was like, I just when it ended, I was like, that's the end. And you said it in the chat earlier too. You're like, that was it.
I thought you had already finished it, and then I sent it, and I was like, oh, well, I didn't say anything like specifically that would ruin it, but also I thought you had already finished it.
Yeah, no problem. Let me do a better or worse. The Boys or this? Better or worse?
The Boys is way better than this.
Right. Titans or this?
I didn't finish Titans, so
Titans.
Doom Patrol or this?
Doom Patrol.
Was Doom Patrol good? Did you like Doom Patrol?
I really like Doom Patrol.
Watchmen or this? Watchmen, obviously.
Watchmen, yeah.
The Tick or this?
The Tick.
I didn't see that one.
I didn't see that one either.
The Tick is incredible. It's so good.
Yes, and then Invincible or this?
Invincible.
By a long shot or what?
Yeah, but also I'd rather watch this than Falcon Winter Soldier.
Ooh, okay. Iron Fist or this?
Please. This. Iron Fist is one of the worst things I've ever sat through.
The Punisher or this?
The Punisher was incredible. The Punisher is better than this.
Okay, and then what was that other Netflix show that had the superpowers where the guy with time traveled? Number 5 and like
Umbrella Academy. Umbrella Academy.
By far.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is like bottom tier. This is a bottom tier superhero show.
It's really hard to call it that though, because it's like it's entertaining. I enjoyed it. It's just it could have been so much better.
Luke Cage or this?
I didn't love Luke Cage, so probably this.
The Defenders or this?
Definitely this. Defenders suck because it had fucking Iron Fist in it. Their sorry excuse for Iron Fist was terrible.
Okay, anyway. last two. Daredevil or this?
Daredevil.
Jessica Jones or this?
I like Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones was good.
Arrow or this?
Ooh.
You watched all of Arrow?
I watched 8 seasons of Arrow.
Oh, they're like 30 episodes, an hour each. Like that's an investment.
3 episodes, an hour each.
Oh God. You spend 8 days watching Arrow?
Shoot.
Arrow's
Sometimes
better.
you tell me all the shows you watch. I'm just like, how? Like, do you even ever have conversations at home, like with your wife? Just like, do you ever not just fucking sit in front of the TV?
I mean, I watched this years ago, and Arrow's better than this. So
Okay. The Flash?
No, the Flash is kind of lame.
You saw the Flash too.
All 7 seasons, all an hour
No,
long.
I stopped at 4 seasons in, which still is a lot of the Flash.
That's a lot of Flash.
But I would rather watch this than the Flash, just because it's shorter.
Harley Quinn's HBO Max show.
Harley Quinn.
Last one, Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing.
I never finished Swamp Thing because they canceled it, and I was just like, why would I watch the rest of this?
Swamp Thing was good though. A lot of people were pissed about that.
Okay, so we named about 14 shows, and all of them you named like we're like we're better than this. Most of them.
Most of them, yes.
This it beat the CW shows. High bar.
Some of them. So obviously, for me, this is a save it.
This is a skip it. I don't think you need to see it.
Okay.
Maybe if season 2 gets rave reviews, fucking you don't need to see this. Go watch another cooler
can
show.
you, Rick, before you move on, and can you expound on that? Like, do you even they really ended this season like expecting there would be a season 2?
Right. I mean,
what would make you enjoy this if there were a season 2?
the story just didn't grab me at all.
I just want all the characters to die.
You're just so mad
Never
at Chloe.
come back. Yeah, Chloe's lame as fuck. Like sure there's gonna be disliked characters, which is good. You want to show emotion or like an attitude toward a character. That means they're doing a good job. But she just was fucking lame and annoying, and it just like didn't do it for me. It just wasn't. It didn't grab my attention. And usually I'm sucked into those period pass. But like, I don't. Just like
didn't like Josh Duhamel at all.
No, I liked him when he was hunting for the superpowers, when he was a regular dude just trying to do right and just having these visions. That was fine and enjoyable, but it was also not like the most engaging of stories. And just when you see a superhero show, you want to have a little more action involved, and it just didn't land.
Okay. I'm not going to try and sell you on this because I couldn't. But Mark, what is your rating?
I'm going to say save it. I'm kind of in the same boat you're in, Smithers. There are obviously things that are wrong with the show, like that could have been way better. The effects, for example, and I think they need to up the superhero-ness, like the actual battles.
Because they spent money on the budget for this, but it's just like the episode 1 when they do the fight with Darkstar is just fucking atrocious.
Yeah,
it was
bad.
So bad. Like they've got people flying in on like wires and their legs aren't right, and everything about it was bad.
I'm not going to say we're spoiled, but we need to expect better. Like we should expect better from shows like this now.
There's too much content out there right now for us to just be like, whatever. I'll ignore the shitty CG.
Yeah. So save it from me. I want to actually touch on something that Elise mentioned in the chat. She said that I'm looking forward to more titles that Miller's doing other than this. And I agree. There's a lot of things that Mark Miller has done that, that could kill it on the screen, like Kick-Ass. I don't know if they're going to take that property and make it a show. Maybe. There's books like Space Bandit, Prodigy. There's a lot of new stuff he's doing too. Magic, I think it's Magic Order or something like that, has been a really good series. So he has a lot of titles out there that could be a hit show. But I guess my question is like, this is the Millerverse. So I'm thinking of like all these different titles that they're going to try to make shows or movies. Are they just going to keep throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks? Like, are they going to maybe do one more season of this and then have another show come in or another movie and be like, okay, maybe we should try going this route?
So Mark Miller has what's called a first look deal with Netflix, which basically means anything that he's going to be producing, Netflix has first right of refusal to either make it or say, this is probably going to suck. You can sell it somewhere else. So that's where he stands right now. I would think that since Mark Miller has this huge deal with Netflix, that we're going to get a second season of this and a few other things. It just like in terms of a business relationship, that kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. So we shall see.
Yeah.
We good on Jupiter's Legacy because I thought we would have more to say, but everything that we've said about it thus far is kind of telling.
Right. The tell all.
I guess I thought I enjoyed it more than I really did when I started talking about it. It was at least interesting, right? Like it wasn't boring by any stretch.
I liked that they had to go and search, and I liked how they got their superheroes power like origin. I like that was pretty creative and pretty interesting, but it was just disjointed for me, and it didn't. More action.
I mean, the flashbacks were the best part.
They were.
Okay.
Can we talk about one thing though? Because you already, I guess it's a spoiler, but you already said it. Smithers is the dad jumping off the roof and killing himself. Like
That's
how
it happens in the first episode.
I know, but how shitty is that? Like to be a father and kill yourself in front of your son. You couldn't just be like, son, just give me a couple more minutes up here just to myself. The son would have instantly, Sheldon would have been like, okay, dad, yeah, take the time you need, and would have walked down, and he could have did that not in front of his fucking eyes. Like
not just that.
But it also shows you how fucking selfish that family is. Like if the dad is only thinking about himself, like, oh, this is my problem, I can't deal with this anymore. not thinking about his son, you definitely could see that side of Sheldon as well.
Yeah,
so I guess I'll give it to them.
On the sidewalk, like at least wait until your kid goes inside.
It's so fucked up.
Scumbag.
Well, he was a piece of shit that spent all the pension funds for all of his employees to go expand stock market. Pew! Dad, peace.
I liked his arc where Josh Duhamel finds out what a piece of shit his dad was, and then he has to apologize to everybody he called out for saying,
defending his father.
My father, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, anyways, let's stop talking about Jupiter's Legacy and let's talk about our recommendations for the week instead. Mark, do you want to kick this off?
Yeah, I can go first.
Love, Death, and Robots is out, y'all, and I've watched 4 episodes already. I'm in the middle of the 5th one before we started recording. About to go back to it. The artwork is fantastic in all of them, per usual. Stories are interesting. The only slight I have on the series is there's only 8 episodes. Only 8 episodes. I want more. Give me more. There was 18 in the first season.
First season was 18 episodes. I watched the first 1.5 episodes. First episode has incredibly uncomfortable animation. But that
big heads, yeah. It kind of felt like that junkyard dog.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I made my wife watch it, and she was like, "Okay, I can get into this." So I have to maybe start back at episode 1 and try and get her to get into it. But you actually stole mine. I think this show is incredible. I'm halfway through the 2nd episode, but Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix is incredible.
Yeah, they changed up the order. I don't know if you noticed that of season 1.
Well, we argued about whether or not the robots in the post-apocalyptic world were the first episode or not, and I thought they were, but apparently,
it was Sonny's Edge.
Okay,
it was the one where she turns into the monster and does these like gladiator battles, which was like that was the first thing I thought. I was like, damn, this is sick. And then the second episode was the
real steel thing with without what's his face, Wolverine. Yeah,
Hugh Jackman.
Enough. All right, Mark, you got something?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about some music stuff going on. J. Cole just released the Off Season, which is his new album, and he's one of the GOATs. He's one of the greatest of all time. Definitely.
All time?
I think so.
I love J. Cole, but I mean, where are you putting him in the pantheon of great rappers?
When I think of J. Cole, I think of 2014 Forest Hills Drive, which I've listened to 40 times. No joke. Like, I think it is one of the best flowing albums of all time. If you listen to it from the start to finish.
But he's not going to like unseat Eminem or Dr. Dre or whomever else. Like he's not.
I was basically saying he's up there with the greatest of all times. Like he's up there with that class of rappers.
Don't agree with that at all.
Okay.
Have you heard his new album?
No, I have not listened to it yet.
Krisky said the same thing.
I think he has a lot of similarities to Nas in the way, like his style of rap, who's also probably top 3 for me. So that is why I just maybe favor him as a rapper, but I truly do think he's one of the best rappers ever.
You're going to tell me that like this album rivals One Mic from Nas?
This album slaps, but no, I love Nas. Nas is top 3 for me. He's not top 3, but I think he definitely needs to be respected. And I think people will be talking about him for a long time as being one of the greats.
Top 5, top 10? Let's hear it.
Top 10 right now. Top 10 right now.
He's number 10.
Yeah. No, he's probably
number
20
like in my top 10.
Number 8. Number 8 in the top 10.
Number 8. Okay.
Let's hear it. We'll finish your list. Make a list and we'll post it on Instagram. Mark's
all right.
Magnificent rapper list.
Definitely happen.
I need to hear it. Yeah. I need to see it.
Okay. I actually don't have a recommendation for this week because I work too much. My recommendation is don't work.
Go watch Love, Death, and Robots. Go finish The Flash. Is what you should.
Yeah, and Arrow.
No, don't watch anything on the CW.
Was there ever a crossover of those dudes?
Oh yeah, like several times. It's fucking.
Was
it was actually pretty good. Not gonna lie. I tried to say like, no, it sucked. It didn't suck. It was actually pretty cool when they met up.
the crossovers? Sick. Yeah. Okay.
Should we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's
Please
wrap this up.
Going pretty long.
Yes, on all social media platforms at the Chumpcast. You can also call or text us at 847-920-6107. You can find Mark's new comic book picks every Wednesday night. Have you been late on any of those yet, Mark?
I actually didn't release last week's.
You piece of shit.
But I usually do them weekly.
You can also find us playing Dungeons and Dragons on Tuesday nights around 7:30 p.m. Central. We killed Mark, so you don't have to worry about him. But everybody else is still there, so it's cool.
On for now.
Anything we need to plug? Second Star to the Right is a show that I produce on Twitch. It is a real play D&D campaign based in the Neverland world. So Peter Pan and all that kind of cool stuff. I do it every other Friday night. You can check them out at Second Star Show on Twitch. And
all the artwork for that is awesome. I love whoever is doing all that stuff. It's very retro and it does justice to like Neverland in itself. It's very cool.
It's incredible. And so Joe, our regular DM, is out this week. He's he's officiating his sister's wedding. So props to you, Joe. Love you. But he was out this week. So we brought in the guy who wrote the guidebook for the Neverland D&D campaign. And he was incredible. He was so good. Can't say enough about him, but check it out. The VOD is obviously on Twitch.
Check it out. Blacked out right now. Blacked out. You're a slur boy.
I've had a few beers. I started drinking at about 11 a.m.
I started drinking at about 11 a.m.
Do not sound like that.
Until
next time.
Ciao.
Jumps out, motherfuckers. Peace.
Fuck you, Brick. You can't mute me, piece of shit. Fuck you, Brick.